Tana Mongeau just got called out to her face, and it left her a little speechless. On the other hand, she's also getting a lot of love from Jeff Wittek fans after the last few podcasts of his where he's been struggling to get back into posting again after losing footage of one of his favorite interviews. It's a whole situation, so let's break everything down. Starting with Tana getting confronted, recently her and Brooke had Sofia, who used to be a part of the Call Her Daddy podcast, on their canceled podcast. And Tana ended up getting called out for a tweet that she wrote back when she was supposed to be on Call Her Daddy. Originally, Tana was set to be a guest way before Sofia and Alex split up, but she isn't always the best at showing up for things, so she didn't quite make it to filming with them. Tana ended up getting called out in the episode for being a no-show. Sofia was super upset, vented about it on the show, and the title of the episode was Tana Mongeau effed us over. Later on, after Sofia and Alex split up and weren't doing Call Her Daddy as a duo anymore, Alex took it over by herself and Tana went on as a guest. And when she went, she tweeted out, "Sofia with an F is shaking." Because there was so much drama at the time with the Call Her Daddy girls no longer doing the podcast together and taking sides, Sofia got a lot of hate at the time and has basically come out to say that Tana added to the hate train against her when she tweeted this out. So when they got together to do Tana's podcast recently, she confronted her about it, and Tana actually had no memory of even tweeting this out, at least that's what she says. She said that she was on substances back then and super unwell and should not have been allowed to even be on Twitter.
I think you tweeted when you went on there and you tweeted, "Sofia with an F is shaking right now."
Like when I went on Call Her Daddy, I tweeted Sofia with an F is shaking.
Yeah.
Okay, kind of funny.
Yeah.
Just saying, but like, but also I hope you know at the time I know it wasn't like a deep thing. It was just me having Twitter from 2019 to 2021 was such a fucking it should have been like federally mandated. Like that girl doesn't need it. Like
Tana said she didn't even know she added to the hate train going around on Sofia at the time and felt really bad, saying that she never would have done that to her had she had known.
Actually, I wasn't that upset because literally everyone was like on the bandwagon being like, "Sofia the F, like let's fucking go."
Like
Tiana's like, wait, I had no idea.
That was definitely not my
campaign.
That was definitely not my intention at the time. Like
That's how you know she loves you. She did it to me once as well.
I was never doing that in like a hater way. I just thought it was funny, but that sucks. Can we talk about that?
Sorry.
I love how you're like, that sucks. Like, let's talk about it.
No,
That's so nice of you to come on here now, though, after that and bring gifts and everything.
Well, and I just don't want you to ever think that was like in a negative way, because I'm never one to try to like fuel a campaign, especially on like a girl I don't know.
This particular day, the three of them were filming an episode of Tana's podcast and an episode of Sofia's podcast, and the subject got brought back up again when they filmed Sofia's, and Tana ended up apologizing to Sofia for the whole thing again.
At the time, there was like a whole hate campaign happening.
Yeah. And I
then-
definitely did not know that.
Right. But then you just kind of piled on a little.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, let me look at you. We'll start this off with an apology. I'm no stranger to those. I'm so sorry if I added to that. Because to be fair with you, I had no idea that at the time. Even just now when you said it for the first time on Canceled, I was like, damn, I'm not that type. Here's the thing. I will hate on it. I will add to a hate train if I hate you. If you're an awful person. I didn't know you. Like, I was sincerely just making a joke on Twitter. So if I added to any of whatever was going on in that realm at the time, I'm sorry.
Now, speaking of podcasts and drama, let's talk about Jeff Wittek because he's been going through it. Last week, I made a video talking about how Jeff hadn't posted in a few weeks, and when he did, he explained that he almost stopped doing his Jeff FM podcast entirely because he lost the footage from a recent interview and it crushed his motivation.
We had a major setback. Remember that episode I was all excited for?
Bruce Buffer.
Yes, Bruce Buffer,
So
the
what
voice of
happened
the
with
UFC. I had a breakdown, big time. I thought I was never going to come back and do anything ever again because losing that crushed my confidence in myself. It crushed my confidence in my team, and it crushed my creativity. I just blocked completely. I couldn't bring myself to come back in here and film another episode knowing that we had fumbled that one so badly. And it was a serious humbling. I feel embarrassed of myself that I let this man down. I wasted his time. I had no control over myself. I felt like a loser. I feel like a loser to this day. I still feel like a loser because I just can't. I was set back to the start of this career, you know? I felt like I was starting back out doing YouTube again.
Because Jeff was being so hard on his crew for losing the footage and there was some tension between them, there was also a lot of speculation as to whether or not Jeff and Tana were on the rocks with their friendship, because some of the people that work on Jeff's podcast also work on Tana's podcast, and people are coming up with all these theories like, does Jeff think that the boys are distracted working on Tana's podcast and so they're lacking on mine and that's how we lost the footage and all that? There were so many theories that were going around, and I will say that Oscar, who is at the moment not working on Jeff's podcast, did come out on Reddit to say that he was deleting things on their Reddit about, you know, the theories going around about Tana because they weren't true. And they really cleared it up this week because all seems to be well. Tana was back filming the recent Jeff FM episode, and it seemed like all was good between the two of them. The fans were just so freaking excited to see her back and were commenting things like, Tana and Jeff's friendship is actually so refreshing and seems so genuine. I love it. Tana should be on every episode or at least every other week. Tana, Jeff are finally back and everything feels right in the world again. Jeff's energy is always 1,000 times higher when Tana is there. These are the best episodes. Everyone effortlessly vibing together and having a good time. Jeff looking much happier, thank God. And during the episode, they did talk about things that were going on with Jeff in the previous weeks and him in the podcast. And Tana did mention that she was there for Jeff during this time.
Happy to be here.
We
All
needed
of you.
it. We needed it.
Missed you, missed you, missed you, missed you, missed you.
I almost called it quits.
I know. I had to talk you absolutely off a ledge.
No.
Absolutely not off a ledge. I'm lying.
Maybe maybe a little.
There's a gun in this plant. Don't let it fly. I'm happy
what
that you didn't quit.
I was going through a lot. I was also taking a lot of at the time.
And it kind of sounds like they had to talk about the fact that the boys do work on Tana's podcast, and she was kind of thanking him for allowing them to do that and to continue working on her podcast. And he was kind of like teasing her about it a little bit.
I'm happy with the decisions that you've made. I think
there's a
bright
know you're
future.
happy.
But my loyalty lies with you at the end of the day.
And you love some Jeff FM boys.
Okay, before you get all smirky and psycho, at the end of the day, I wouldn't know anyone here if it wasn't for you. And I'm very happy that you've allowed me into your very dysfunctional family, because I am just as dysfunctional.
Yeah.
And we all mesh very well. But I'm happy you're still doing what you love. You deserve it. And I love you.
So hopefully there's no issues with the fact that the boys are working on Tana's podcast and one of them is currently working on Jeff's podcast. Sometimes sharing friends can get dicey, and sharing employees like that, who knows? But all is well right now, and Tana seems very thankful that Jeff is letting her be a part of the Jeff FM family and all of that. So Tana can be getting called out 1 minute and then saving a show the next. It's always something, but I do love their friendship, I must say, and a lot of the Jeff FM viewers really love Tana as well. They were actually supposed to work on a project together. I believe they were talking about doing a show together because Jeff was like, you know, Jeff FM is my name and I want Tana's name to be in it with me and us to do something together. And then with her podcast starting back up again, they really wanted to put something out, but it hasn't happened yet. I think it's on the back burner. I hope that they still want to do it and end up doing it. I know that Jeff is really in this mode of trying to get Jeff FM back to where he wants it to be, even though I feel like it's the same. And in this episode, especially with Tana, everyone was feeling like the crew is back, everyone, the whole dynamic, it's back to normal. I feel like Jeff needs to like up his confidence in how he's feeling about the show before he wants to do another show, because he is still feeling down and off about Jeff FM, even though it's perfectly fine. But I feel like it's not going to be until then that he is going to actually want to do this side project with Tana. But whenever that does come out, I know the fans are going to go crazy because they just absolutely eat up every single freaking time they are together in a room. And I do think that they have a really good dynamic and they're funny together. And yeah, so we'll just have to see if that ever ends up happening. But that is what is going on in Tana's world. Her getting called out 1 second and then she's saving a podcast the next minute. I mean, it's always something when it comes to her. But let me know what you guys think about Sofia kind of confronting Tana and how she responded to that. And if you want to see a potential Jeff and Tana project in the future, let me know in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.